In the outer square of the Qingyang Sect, one of the 4 overlords of the Kanglandao domain, the atmosphere was electric. The sect, spanning millions of miles and housing countless cultivators, was witnessing what was supposed to be a routine talent test for outer disciples. However, an extraordinary scene was unfolding in the sky. Several high-ranking, powerful figures were glaring at each other, their faces livid with fury. The tension between them crackled like a spark ready to ignite into a full-blown conflict. Among the onlookers, one disciple whispered that the confrontation between the peak masters was terrifying, the pressure so intense that it made breathing difficult. Another marveled at how shocking it was to see the peak masters appear out of nowhere. The true shock, however, was the young man who had caused them to gather, Jiang Chun. The fact that these powerful nascent soul peak masters were vying for him to become their disciple had become the hottest topic of discussion. Yet no one knew that Jiang Chun was a transmigrator. In this talent test, Jiang Chun, who had started as a mere menial worker, had inexplicably attracted the attention of the elders. His talent was revealed to be of divine grade, a status so rare that it instantly elevated him from a lowly worker to someone others could only envy. A girl in the crowd gasped at the revelation, remarking on how incredible a divine grade talent was. A young man compared it to ascending from the ground to the heavens in a single step. But at the center of this storm, Jiang Chun felt only panic. Sweat poured down his face as he pleaded with the elders to stop fighting over him, convinced that this was all a misunderstanding. To understand how things reached this point, we must rewind time. Jiang Chun was born 18 years ago, his mother hoping he would grow up to be an obedient child. However, Jiang Chun was dissatisfied with being reborn in another world, frustrated by the idea of starting life from zero. When he realized he was in a world of cultivation, he imagined himself as one of those peerless demon slayers from the web novels and resolved to start working hard. But his early attempts at cultivating his body were disastrous. He was constantly plagued by bad luck, stung by insects, choked while eating, stabbed by accidents. His life was a series of misfortunes, leading him to wonder why nothing ever went right. One day, a treasure of unparalleled value appeared at Jiang Chun's feet, shining with countless colors and emitting the faint chimes of the great Tao. But even then, he was pressed to the ground by the treasure's overwhelming pressure and could only watch helplessly as it was taken away. This wasn't the first time such misfortune had befallen him. Jiang Chun seemed cursed to always encounter great opportunities, only to be unable to grasp them. After years of enduring this, Jiang Chun had all but given up. Then, a glimmer of hope appeared. He was chosen as an outer disciple, one of the 100 selected from nearly 100,000 menial workers. It was an unbelievable stroke of luck, the first in 18 years, and Jiang Chun dared to hope that his fortunes were finally changing. On the day of the talent test, however, things went awry. When it was Jiang Chun's turn, his talent didn't react at all. The elder overseeing the test told him to step aside, as there was a long line behind him. Jiang Chun begged for another chance, convinced that the wind or some other force had interfered. But the elder, in his 1,000 years of experience, had never seen someone with such poor results. He dismissed Jiang Chun as unqualified. Just as Jiang Chun resigned himself to his fate, the talent stone emitted a faint ding. Jiang Chun wondered if it was a system notification, but the system, if it could even be called that, was almost entirely useless. It only confirmed what he already knew. His ill luck was too strong. Frustrated, Jiang Chun exerted his strength on the stone, accidentally causing it to shatter. This was no ordinary stone. It was forged by a mystical grade master from meteorite iron and was nearly indestructible, even for a cultivator at the foundation stage. Yet Jiang Chun, the unluckiest transmigrator in history, had just shattered it, achieving a new level of misfortune he didn't want. As the other candidates begin to murmur, they wonder if he shattered the talent stone because of his lack of qualifications. They worry about how they'll continue testing now that it's broken. Some speculate he might have to go to jail for this crime or serve as a menial worker in the sect for the rest of his life as compensation. He starts imagining a life in jail, shackled and surrounded by spider webs, and given his tendency for bad luck, he feels certain that this is his fate. He definitely doesn't want to be the protagonist who ends up in jail. The elder, clearly astonished, remarks that the talent stone hasn't broken like this in 1,000 years. The protagonist, still caught up in his fear, blurts out that he doesn't want to go to jail. His shock deepens when the elder instead asks if he wants to become his disciple. A nearby candidate questions the Golden Core elder, wondering why he would make such an offer. The protagonist, Jiang, is equally puzzled, as he had fully expected to be sent to jail. The elder explains that, according to ancient records, the talent stone had shattered once before, 10,000 years ago, when it couldn't handle someone's overwhelming potential. That individual was evaluated as divine grade and became an unparalleled genius, ultimately becoming a direct disciple. There are many speculations about what happened to that person. Some say he ascended to the immortal realm, while others believe he was struck down by a forbidden thunder tribulation, dying without hope of rebirth. Jiang can't fathom being compared to such a legendary figure. Meanwhile, the elder contemplates his own fate. He has been stuck at the golden core stage, third layer, for hundreds of years, with his life nearing its end. He sees in Jiang an opportunity for an immortal breakthrough, a chance even the sect leader wouldn't challenge. The elder then orders Jiang to follow him, declaring that Jiang is the first divine grade talent in 10,000 years, and offering him all of his resources if Jiang agrees to become his disciple. The crowd is stunned, questioning whether Jiang is truly a divine grade talent, and if he resembles that ancient monster. Exhausted, Jiang insists that the stone shattered because of his bad luck and begs everyone to stop labeling him as a divine grade. He refuses the elder's guidance, fearing that if he fails despite having so many resources, the elder will be furious with him. Suddenly, a lightning storm erupts, and the elder declares it a heavenly phenomenon, shocked that it is focused directly on Jiang. The elder muses that Jiang's potential might exceed even that of the ancient genius and begins to think that the lightning is a warning against his own greed. He then admits that he is unworthy to be Jiang's master, though Jiang rejects this thought in his mind. People around them murmur, wondering if this heavenly phenomenon is truly related to the divine grade and if Jiang's potential is genuinely beyond that. Jiang, however, fears that this misunderstanding could become a massive problem in the future, given his bad luck. Suddenly, the unlucky system reappears with a bad omen. The system informs Jiang that he doesn't belong in this world and has dared to step onto the path of cultivation. His bad luck has peaked, summoning a sea of lightning. The system reveals that this is a punishment, not a heavenly phenomenon, and that Jiang is cursed. A curse so powerful that even immortals cannot break it. The curse ensures that all the spiritual energy he cultivates will be automatically dissipated. Jiang, distressed, questions why he's even in this world if he can't cultivate. He worries that the heavens are punishing him for merely absorbing a small amount of spiritual energy. As the lightning storm intensifies, Jiang is horrified to see the lightning strike directly at him. The elder exclaims that this is destructive lightning and wonders what exactly has befallen Jiang. Exhausted and in pain, Jiang contemplates whether he's about to die, suffering from broken meridians due to a curse. He thinks that this feels like the plot of a comedy manhwa, where bad luck is relentless. As his consciousness begins to fade, Jiang feels the despair of losing his cultivation potential and realizes that the heavens are far beyond his expectations. The elder, however, is still convinced that Jiang's potential surpasses even the legendary divine grade. Just then, the system reappears and informs Jiang that his body is being rejuvenated by the lightning, effectively rebirthing him. His attributes have increased, his meridians are recovering, and the destructive lightning is dissipating. Jiang suddenly feels a rush of vitality. The thunder that descended due to the curse of the heavenly Tao nearly caused Jiang to perish on the spot. Despite the near-fatal strike, his strength was enhanced, and his body restored. He marvels at how a dire situation has somehow turned into an advantage, almost like something out of a legend. The system informs him that his dantian has been restored, though the curse has doubled in intensity, granting him invincible attributes. Spiritual energy begins to converge towards his dantian, permeating through his meridians. He realizes that his grim situation reversed somehow. System notify him that he reached first stage of chi refinement, with the curse of the heavenly Tao now reversed and everything amplified. The elder, observing the process, remarks that the spiritual energy pouring into Jiang is a sign of the brilliance of guiding chi into the body. He also notes that the cleansing of Jiang's muscles by the thunder granted by the heavenly Tao is nothing short of incredible. Meanwhile, the system informs Jiang that he has quickly advanced to the second stage of chi refinement, then the middle stage and finally the peak. Jiang speculates that his cultivation is reversing, as he's managed to raise it by 3 layers in such a short time. Unlike others who cultivate by harnessing spiritual energy, Jiang realizes he only needs something akin to poison gas or thunder power to disperse the energy and strengthen his body. He begins to wonder if he can still activate the curse to further amplify his power. According to the principles of reverse cultivation, The more severe the injury, the stronger the amplification. Jiang starts to see the curse in a new light, appreciating its potential, even though he was disappointed at first. He considers provoking golden core or nascent soul cultivators, destroying their cultivation, to make them attack him, thus accelerating his own cultivation. However, the system warns him that while the curse's effect is time-consuming, if he dies instantly, the curse wouldn't have time to activate. Furious, Jiang thinks this plan might not work after all. The elder expresses his excitement, suggesting that the Qingyang sect might produce an immortal within the next 1,000 years. He predicts that the Qingyang sect will become dominant, with no rival among the 4 overlords of the Kanglan Dao domain. Jiang, however, believes it's a big misunderstanding that they think of him as a divine-grade talent. Despite Jiang's refusal to become his disciple, the elder assures Jiang that he will appeal to the sect to provide Jiang with ample resources and treasures. He adds that from now on, drinking from spiritual springs and feasting on fierce beasts will be commonplace for Jiang. But Jiang, thinking the elder truly considers him a legendary talent, fears he will be doomed to endless calamities if he is showered with such resources and treasures. Just as Jiang is trembling and about to refuse, another thunder serpent descends, seemingly intent on annihilating him. The thunder strike nearly destroys Jiang, and the system reports that while his body is in shambles, the curse has strengthened, granting him a +20 increase in physical strength. His cultivation rises to the 4th stage of refinement, although 10 strands of his spiritual energy dissipate due to the destructive thunder power. Jiang reflects that cultivation is a mix of pain and joy, as the more ruthless the strike, the higher the rise. He even wonders if he might become a masochist at this rate. Meanwhile, the sect members begin to gossip about what's happening, doubting the rapid rise in Jiang's cultivation since it took them several years to reach the qi refinement 1st stage. They question whether his abilities are indeed those of a divine-grade talent. Jiang feels the need to clarify the rumors about him being a divine-grade talent. Otherwise, he'll be forced to consume spiritual pills in large quantities. He ponders why he's continuously being labeled a talent. The elder then turns the attention to Elder Tianshan, one of the 30 peak masters and at the 3rd level of nascent soul. Tianshan remarks that such an unexpected talent is a sign of prosperity for the Qingyang sect and that teaching this talent requires someone at the nascent soul stage, like himself. He allows Jiang to freely choose from peak-level spiritual treasures until he officially joins the sect, suggesting he establish himself as a true disciple with the resources of 1 peak at his disposal. Tianshan also offers Jiang an unparalleled foundation in the next realm and promises to prepare him for immortality. But his statement further complicates Jiang's feelings. He thinks it might be exhilarating to use the cultivation resources, but he also worries about the potential dangers due to his cursed status. He apologizes to Master Tianshan, explaining that he needs more time to think it over since his cultivation path is uncertain, and taking a master now would be premature. The other masters are shocked, wondering if Jiang is in his right mind to reject a senior nascent soul cultivator, having already turned down both the Golden Core Elder and Tianshan. Jiang is determined not to let them groom him into a monster, deciding to rely solely on the Heaven's Curse to level up. Elder Tianshan, feeling slighted, asks if Jiang considers him unqualified to impart knowledge, offering to invite his own master, Taoist Tianyang, if necessary. Jiang quickly tries to explain that this isn't the case, but before he can, another voice speaks up. It's Peak Master Ziyun. Ziyun points out that his peak's overall strength is much greater than Tianshan's, and that his expertise in the Path of Thunder could greatly benefit Jiang. He offers Jiang top-grade elixirs from Ziyun Peak, boasting that several elders under his command have reached the realm of perfect refinement. The situation escalates as a female master joins the fray, noting that Elder Ziyun too wishes to take Jiang as a disciple. She speculates that another peak master might soon arrive. Jiang, now overwhelmed, wonders why they keep coming one after another. An old witch peak master also tried to recruit. She says their rush to take in the disciple is quite unexpected. She offers Jiang Chun to choose one of the 3,000 female disciples as his cultivation companion. She wouldn't talk about any nonsense until he is willing to join her sect. Another peak master arrives following her. He says that she is trying to tempt the disciples of his Qingyang sect with beauty. Perhaps she is planning to deceive people. He reveals that he is invincible within the nascent soul stage. He has been cultivating the way of thunder for 3,000 years. Being infused with the thunder sea, he told Jiang that his future achievements in thunder will surpass even his own. Meanwhile, Jiang is thinking why they are coming one after another. She says that following his talent is just like relying on brute force to solve problems. He can't be like her, seductive and beautiful. He asks her if he should use his beauty to bewitch others. He says that her divine talent of entering the Jade Maiden Peak, with 3,000 enchanting beauties on her side, would be ruined and wasted. Tianshan counters, claiming that no one can teach disciples better than he can, urging the others to stop arguing. Ziyun responds by recounting his own achievements, starting cultivation at age 3, reaching the first stage of qi refinement by 10, and forming the foundation by 16. He became an elder at 24 after reaching the golden core stage. Confidently, he declares that Jiang will choose him to avoid any losses. The spectators are stunned, struggling to believe that so many elders and peak masters are competing over one disciple. Jiang finds himself at the center of an intense showdown, with all eyes on him. As the situation escalates, he requests the elders and peak masters to stop their bickering. The Golden Core Elder finds it unbelievable that so many powerful figures are ready to clash over Jiang. He once considered competing with them, but the overwhelming disparity in their strengths forced him to abandon the idea. Meanwhile, the other test candidates murmur among themselves, frustrated that they haven't been given a chance to complete their tests. No one pays attention to them when a heavenly talent like Jiang appears, drawing the interest of all the peak masters who want him as their disciple. Jiang reflects that if he had been treated this way in the past, he would have been overjoyed. But now, as the competition among the peak masters intensifies, he realizes it will only lead to greater trouble down the line. He doesn't even consider himself a regular talent, and the continuation of the situation is bound to create more complications. He decides to step back, focusing on improving his own cultivation instead of getting caught up in their struggle. Adopting an ostrich-like avoidance strategy, he waits for another lightning strike to hit him. Suddenly, the balance of nature shifts, signaling the arrival of a powerful figure. The Qingyang sect leader, Li Chongqing, makes his appearance, stunning Jiang and the 4 peak masters. The sect leader remarks that as the mainstay of the Qingyang sect, overseeing one of the 36 peaks, their argument in the outer sect square is unseemly. The peak masters quickly apologize for their behavior. The old witch dismisses their actions, claiming they weren't fighting but merely discussing how best to teach a heavenly talent. Tianshan responds angrily, questioning her qualifications. The sect leader, acknowledging their eagerness to take Jiang as a disciple, commands them to cease their argument. He emphasizes that heavenly talents are incredibly rare and that it's inappropriate for mere nascent souls to teach such a prodigy. When he asks for the peak master's opinions, they remain silent. The sect leader then declares that he is the most suitable to teach Jiang, citing his ability to connect with the younger generation. Despite defeating opponents at the deity transformation realm, he is still young and strong, making him an ideal mentor. The peak masters are stunned by his statement, masking their frustration with polite smiles. Jiang, who initially thought the sect leader came to calm the situation, realizes with dismay that he has joined the fray. The old witch chimes in, referencing incidents in Zhongzhou that suggest the sect leader's impulsiveness often leads to trouble. She argues that the Qingyang sect's glory hinges on training Jiang to become a qualified leader, not just a powerful warrior. Tianshan agrees, stressing the need for a mature leader for the sect. The sect leader considers their opinions but insists that a heavenly talent like Jiang, who only appears once in 10,000 years, should not be limited by being taught solely by nascent souls. If Jiang doesn't shine in the Tianyu realm or ascend to the immortal realm, the entire Qingyang sect will bear the blame. A slight mistake could lead to everlasting infamy. The Golden Core Elder offers to bear this infamy himself, but the sect leader refuses, stating that he has already decided to take on the responsibility alone, even if Jiang fails in the future. He challenges the masters to voice any objections, but they remain silent, unwilling to contest his decision. Jiang can't believe the sect leader's shamelessness. As the conversation concludes, the peak masters exchange glances and fall silent. The sect leader then asks Jiang if he is willing to become his disciple, promising to teach him everything and match the resources offered by the other peak masters. He assures Jiang that upon reaching the deity transformation stage, he will personally join forces with the supreme elders to obtain a heavenly spiritual weapon for him. Jiang, searching for a reason to refuse, worries that if his true cultivation level is revealed, still at the 4th stage of qi refinement, the sect leader might expel him. He fears that consuming too many resources might even cause his cultivation to regress. To navigate this tricky situation, Jiang presents the sect leader with 3 conditions. The sect leader, eager to secure Jiang as his disciple, agrees without hesitation, even offering to fulfill 30 conditions if necessary. Jiang's first condition is that the sect leader must acknowledge that he is not a heavenly talent, nor even a genius. He warns that his future achievements might be modest, asking how the sect leader would react in such a case. The sect leader swears to the heavens that it wouldn't be a problem, promising that even if Jiang's cultivation is entirely wasted, no one would dare harm him. The sect leader thinks Jiang is pretending to be weak but agrees to the condition nonetheless. Jiang's second condition is that the sect leader must make a heavenly oath that Jiang won't have to worry about being discarded. He insists on gathering all his own resources and forbids the sect leader from using any spiritual medicine on him. The sect leader interprets this as Jiang wanting to rely solely on his hard work, which might make him seem like an unhelpful master. However, he accepts it, reasoning that Jiang wishes to forge his own path. The sect leader decides to focus on his own cultivation and the many enemies in Zhongzhou, believing that a master should guide the way, but the journey is up to the individual. For his third condition, Jiang asks the sect leader to make a formal oath to heaven and earth, guaranteeing all the promises he has made. As the sect leader of Qingyang sect looks at Jiang Chan, he asks with a mix of curiosity and caution if he really wants him to make an official oath to heaven and earth. Jiang, unwavering, nods in affirmation, stating that only after the oath will he accept the sect leader as his master. The sect leader pauses, contemplating the gravity of such a request. If Jiang's cultivation progress slows down in the future and how he will manage to discipline him effectively. He recalls his own harsh experiences, being beaten by his master until he doubted his own resolve. The thought of having a disciple he can't scold or punish weighs heavily on him, and what if this oath results in him being struck by lightning? Despite these reservations, the sect leader resolves to accept the risk. Securing Jiang as his disciple, even at the cost of making such a dangerous vow, is essential, especially if it means he can eventually pass on the responsibilities of the sect leader to someone else. Determined to seize the opportunity, the sect leader agrees to all of Jiang's conditions. With resolve, he makes a solemn oath to heaven and earth, swearing that he will never force Jiang Chan to consume any elixirs, and that he will never abandon him, even if his cultivation stagnates or is crippled. Jiang thanks the sect leader, relieved that the oath has been made. He feels a sense of security now, knowing that his life is protected by this heavenly vow. After completing the oath, the sect leader proudly announces that Jiang Chan will now be the young sect leader, effectively passing the mantle of leadership to him. He instructs the peak masters to manage the sect's major affairs among themselves, indicating that they should no longer trouble him with daily matters. The crowd, hearing this announcement, is left in shock. The implications are clear. Jiang Chan is now the heir to the Qingyang sect. Suddenly, a familiar chime echoes in Jiang's mind and a notification from the system appears. Jiang feels a surge of anger, knowing that such notifications usually bring trouble. The message reads that when the sect leader made his oath, it alarmed the heavens. Initially, the heavens had planned to unleash the 10,000-mile sea of lightning but hesitated. Realizing their oversight, the heavens dispatched the spirit of lightning, now preparing to strike Jiang with the full might of the 10,000-mile sea of lightning. The system notes that Jiang has made history by invoking a heavenly tribulation while still in the Qi refinement realm, a feat that has never occurred before. Jiang is filled with dread, thinking that he's about to be obliterated simply for having the sect leader swear an oath to heaven and earth. He wonders if the transformation of the lightning sea into a tribulation will completely destroy him. He feels weak and powerless in the face of such overwhelming forces, yet he resolves to resist. Jiang is determined to fight back, even if it means standing against the heavens themselves. Meanwhile, the spectators are baffled by the strange phenomenon, noting that the sound of the lightning is anything but ordinary. Jiang, however, is focused on breaking free from all limitations, intending to suppress even the will of the heavens if necessary. The peak masters, watching in disbelief, recognize the destructive aura surrounding Jiang. Elder Ziyun speaks up, pointing out that this is no mere celestial phenomenon. It's a true lightning tribulation. The sect leader, equally perplexed, questions whether this is indeed a heavenly tribulation, especially considering that Jiang is only at the 4th heavenly layer of the Qi refinement realm. Despite this, Jiang is receiving the kind of divine retribution usually reserved for Golden Core cultivators. The Golden Core elder chimes in, suggesting that the heavens and earth have descended this tribulation upon Jiang because his talent is so extraordinary that it qualifies him as a heavenly talent. Such a situation is unheard of. The elder is astonished by the fact that this prodigious talent has now become the disciple of the Qingyang Sect's master. As the lightning strikes Jiang, the pain is excruciating, as if his body is being torn apart. His physical form begins to collapse, and his consciousness starts to fade. But just as quickly as his body is battered, it begins to recover, regenerating and gaining strength at an incredible rate. The system informs Jiang that he has endured the ultimate lightning tribulation while still in the Qi refinement realm, which has shattered his meridians and nearly collapsed his physical body. Yet, despite the devastation, his body has strengthened to a staggering 500 kilograms, and his spiritual energy has recondensed to 5 times its previous amount. His cultivation has skyrocketed, breaking through to the 5th layer of the Qi refinement realm. Jiang is elated, realizing that he has reached the maximum physical strength limit for this realm. Jiang marvels at the power of the lightning tribulation, thinking that if he could endure 10 more rounds of this, he might even break through to the 9th layer. He realizes that only a handful of cultivators in the entire Tianyu world could achieve such a rapid breakthrough. With this newfound strength, Jiang now sees the possibility of reaching the Grand Ascension realm in the future. The Golden Core Elder, watching in disbelief, is astounded. It's outrageous, he thinks, that the lightning tribulation seems so weak. Not only is Jiang unscathed, but his cultivation is also rising rapidly. For most cultivators, surviving a heavenly tribulation is a life-or-death struggle. But for Jiang, it seems like an endless supply of power. The sect leader shares in the confusion, recalling how he himself had nearly perished while overcoming his own deity transformation tribulation. Now, he begins to wonder if he is truly worthy of being Jiang's master. As the lightning tribulation nears its end, the dark clouds begin to dissipate, signaling that the trial is almost over. Jiang's cultivation growth slows, a clear sign that the tribulation is drawing to a close. His physical strength has doubled, now reaching 1,000 kilograms, and his cultivation has soared to the 7th layer of the Qi refinement realm. Jiang reflects on the nature of lightning tribulations, thinking that if they're all like this, they won't pose any real hindrance to his path to immortality. His potential now seems limitless. The peak masters, witnessing this incredible display, are in awe. They see Jiang challenging the lightning tribulation with no fear of death. They speculate that perhaps Jiang has forgotten that the heavens are behind these trials. Above, the heavens themselves seem provoked by Jiang's defiance. A thunderstorm begins to brew, as if commanded by the heavens. The previous lightning punishment was merely a warning. Now, it appears the heavens are preparing to unleash their full wrath to erase Jiang from existence. The skies above turn ominous as lightning snakes converge, forming a massive, terrifying sea of lightning that seems almost unreal. The peak masters, watching from below, are incredulous, unable to comprehend the magnitude of what's happening. The sect leader, his voice tinged with both awe and fear, admits that there has never been a precedent for such a phenomenon. He speculates that the lightning punishment may have transformed into a lightning spirit, an entity containing the very essence of the lightning Tao. And it is a dangerous and ominous sign. Realizing the gravity of the situation, the sect leader swiftly orders the Golden Core Elder to evacuate the menial disciples, ensuring their safety. The old witch, one of the sect's most powerful figures, acknowledges the severity of the disaster. She remarks that many arrogant heavenly talents in the past have faced despair before such a lightning spirit, their bodies destroyed and their Tao extinguished, leaving behind only tales of caution and tragedy. The sect leader, feeling both regret and anger, had never expected Jiang to provoke such a catastrophic lightning punishment. He recognizes that Jiang's talent is monstrous, far beyond anything he could have anticipated. He feels fortunate to have accepted Jiang into the sect as the young sect leader, yet now he is filled with fury and concern, wondering how Jiang will possibly survive this overwhelming tribulation. Meanwhile, Jiang, exhausted and overwhelmed by the intense suppression and unimaginable danger, realizes that the exhilaration of showing off was fleeting. Now he must face the true wrath of the heavens with everything he has.
To be continued. If you want to watch the next part, then like and subscribe and let me know in the comment of what recap you want to watch next.